Hey there, welcome to SaaS Unbound Podcast. I'm your host, I'm Nadeina, head of growth at SaaS Groups. Here, look, we're buying wonderful SaaS businesses to take them to the next level. And here I chat with inspiring founders and experts to get an inside scoop on how they make their business a success. So today with me is Alex, CEO and founder of Competera, a pricing platform helping retailers increase their revenue. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Anna, for inviting me.
Sure, absolutely. I know just very little about your background and the history of the company, but one of the things I know is that you've been actually working with machine learning and automation and everything that we call AI these days for quite a while. So maybe let's start with your background.
Yeah, perfect, Anna. Yeah, this is true. I actually finished Kyiv Polytechnic University, and it was an interesting project between Polytechnic University and Met University. And this was a kind of opportunity to jump on the extra 1 year of studying and getting like medical engineering, or like call it like this is computer science. It was medical computer science, telemedicine they called. And yeah, and this my final diploma was around electronic nose. As back 2005, we trained the computer to smell the picture. The whole idea was to recreate the smell as a picture, not compare with the diagrams using several sensors. And as an engineer, machine learning and AI is just a type of algorithm that was really more applicable for that things what we try to achieve. Again, just who are technical, they knows that who knows today, they knows that 2005 is actually where just the first level regression models came to play, very one-liner models. Again, just for time reference, 7 years after that is that Google acquired DeepMind, what actually Deep Research, what became the Google DeepMind. I mean, it was 7 years before AI started be visible for big corporations. Yeah, and since then, honestly, as an engineer, I just feel the potential of this technology, and they understand maybe the application in those kind of uncertain environment. Yeah, and this pro gives me very cool baseline for that future understanding where the best way to apply those machine learning.
So how
Yeah,
did you
this.
end up in pricing platforms from medical degree? Well,
Yeah,
medical
this is
science, okay,
yeah,
computer,
this very
but still.
very fun story. Yeah, actually, during the university, I run the outsourcing company. We did like a lot of websites. When I saw the first iPhone, I immediately recognized that the future would be the mobile internet. And the whole idea of my team, we just rebuild the websites, making them mobile friendly. Later on, one of the first developers of apps for App Store for like corporates, and my focus was only kind of enterprise all the time in my life in enterprise customers like Gillette, Prada. We did the websites for them and first mobile applications. Yeah, and doing so, guys, I was kind of outreached by Big Four. I can mention the company name, but who can check my LinkedIn profile can find it. Yeah, and they're looking for actually someone who can help them to optimize a lot of work. Technically, they acquired my company, like they bought a like control package. They honestly needed me rather than the company itself, and my job became to oversee the operations and technically optimize the work of analysts and consultants inside the corporation. And this one of the big team, like it's not happens immediately, honestly. It was like years and years. And 1 year when I'm searching for the next big thing to optimize, I found this is a huge group of people technically sitting in Excels and charging customers 16, 20,000. Can you imagine, Anna, a year to recommend them a price optimization? And honestly, how it looks, it was Excel with a very simple kind of elasticity calculation thing and login page on top. And by the way, most of the customers wasn't happy. I just go to the customers and plus my teammates who are working on that, saying, Alex, this is we do all the time this monkey work year over year, takes a lot of times. I saw that machine learning can solve this thing more or less easily. Secondly, cloud computer growing. I feel like this can be calculated in cloud. Just very, very honestly, a napkins idea. And I pitched this to my boss, my direct boss. He was happy with that because, hey, look, we can like free maybe 16, 15,000 hours per year, like just doing this for one customer. And honestly, those calculations always also was running like by biannually or quarterly for very, very kind of say rich customers. Yeah, and but as usually it happens in a big corporation, this your direct boss impressed, but someone who makes the real money, he told me, Alex, you're killing our business. We design for charge for hours, not for subscription. Can you imagine? I pitched this in 2014, like that AI can do pricing. Yeah, this is how I got to this idea. But guys, long story short, if you think that my connection at that company and this everything goes smoothly, it probably is only can happen in Yellow Pages or in TechCrunch. But the real story was it was really hard to push even internally, and I had a fight with my teammates that I was really stick around for next year, and actually nothing is moving in that direction. And I came one day back and say, "Hey guys, look, or we building or I am leaving." Guess what they choose? This now I'm sitting here with you, but again, a good story to say that we are start building this. And honestly, my boss was right. In 2014, maybe some part of your audience who kind technical, they immediately understand that the compute that time wasn't really perfect. And guys, like even having, I did have some research, and I immediately that of course this corporation disconnect me from all data sources and build machine learning in the data. And I'm not Sam Altman. I don't have a Azure credits for $19 billion to play with. It needs to be also profitable, or at least show some sense in ROI. Yeah, and when we did our first calculations, guys, it was take so much compute power. No, like literally, I can give you like real numbers. It was around 300,000 pounds. The deal itself, of course, not paid upfront. Who pay upfront to start up anything? And I paid Google 260 of that. Big kuda for Google. Ask for credits. They actually time also. They give something, but it was end up in one day or something. Yeah, and it was good news. It works. Bad news. My unit economics or margin on outsourcing business was much better than that. Yeah, it takes a while, guys. It takes me 4 years to iterate and find the way to go forward. But honestly, most is was just driven because the blockchain, all this kind of GPUs, the efficiency of the compute changed. We did optimization, but honestly speaking, most of those just the industry developed in that way that machine learning became affordable. They're still expensive. A lot of people are building consuming apps is really still expensive on top of these GPT wrappers. At that time, it was crazy expensive, guys. Who's telling me right now this expensive? Like, just call me. I will tell you what it was like in 2015, 16.
What expensive means.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting that you said you were always thinking about working with enterprise, and you were always just considering working with enterprise. And I think there will be quite a few founders arguing that yeah, I mean, they do pay a lot, and they do have budgets to play around, maybe even. But first of all, the sales process is super difficult, and it's long, and you have to have compliance, and you have to have the trust. And at the same time, when you're still quite small, they do have a lot of power on influencing you and tell you, okay, we just want you to be that. And the risk there is to become their feature, basically. So how did you deal with that, and have you managed to avoid those mistakes?
Anna, you're absolutely right. For everyone who is listening, if you're not from enterprise world or you don't have a co-founder who from that world, please run away. That really all what you said, 100% true. They try to influence your backlog. My first customer has my personal phone number. They call me day and night. Secondly, that's really painful in terms of fighting for with the procurement, with all those legislations, etc. That is really, really hard. And honestly, honest, true guys, I never told this, by the way, publicly in the podcast. We didn't want to start enterprise. We really tried to do it like at Amazon and actually Alibaba, Amazon. What happens when we started figuring this? Say, of course, you're right. This best way. I still big fan of speaking with the customers, guys. It doesn't mean like you shouldn't speak. And this kind of I also saw some founders thinking if they build SMB product, it means that they can put the landing page in place and run it and everything goes smooth. No, you should speak with the customers. Speak with 30, 40. With one friend of mine, they created very cool, powerful analytics for YouTube. He spoke himself with 300 e-commerce players, those video podcasters professionally before he launched the SMB product, what starts like at 15.99 or something. Yeah, but what happens, the guys, the problem is when launched this at Amazon, months 2 or 3, Amazon blocked our request, our API key. We start negotiating, we start exploring what happens, and they say it's prohibited. To be able to machine learning to advise on the price, we need to merge the several data sets, like different APIs. And actually, this is basically prohibited by Amazon law rules, because Amazon want to play. If you want to win in casino, you should own the casino. And it was against any tools were trying to actually fight with Amazon behavior pricing, that it's available for them but not for sellers. And in that moment, it actually very politely asked, "Hey guys, what you try to do?" Like we explained, "I will give you more credits." And guess what happens? They just blocked us completely. And then the block API, we start asking sellers to give us API keys for their API developers that we request Amazon under their credentials. And they actually blocked the way how we ask and iterate with API. It means that you see that they didn't block the key, they blocked the way how we use the key. And that we immediately pivoted to Alibaba because it was kind of in our kind of AliExpress in our roadmap as well. There, by the way, API was much more powerful than Amazon that days. And more or less, Anna, the same situation happened. They block the API, then ask, "Hey, describe please what you try guys to do. We will give you more credits." I will say, "I know what does it lead to." And I sent them a very cool, polite email, and they invited me to have a chat with their head of merchandising, the guy who actually is responsible for these packages of the merchants they pay to be listed at Amazon or Alibaba. They're like a paid subscription. Say, "Hey, Alex, it's a nice idea. We want you to become the part of our subscription policy," which is well school idea. And guess what? I'm grabbing the tickets. I'm flying to Indonesia, Jakarta. It was my first and last time I've been there. Like you can stuck like 3 hours in traffic. You can order the food in the car or massage. That was crazy. But anyway, I spent there like very intensive day, where we ended up saying they said, "Hey, we want to buy your license," and I was super excited. Can you imagine? I back to office and guys, we have a deal, we have a license deal with the Ali Group, and then when they send us the proposal, it looks like this one-time deal. It means that they want to buy the license one time, few years of support, and bye bye. I say, guys, this does not work like that. I want to revenue share, etc. Long story short, we were negotiating for around 6 months. I even started looking for the good VC who can, because the Chinese companies, they always try to. I was advised multiple friends saying, Alex, be careful with China. It was really true. Their behavior was exactly the same. Hey, if we can buy it, let's us invest, but we can't invest in the US company. We're going to invest in our China branch. Can you create a China branch? The China branch is co-founded by their partner who actually owned it by them. It was long story, guys. I wasted like 6 months of actually doing the product on this kind of legal again as enterprise sales, which is I wasn't prepared enough. Yeah, and this is how we pivoted to enterprise. At the same time, I have the enterprise accounts who are ready to pay six-figure deals in day one. Rather than, and I honestly, we just calculated how much it will take us to fight and build this customer. Honestly, again, nothing bad about PLG products, but launch them, especially in modern world, despite all these Gen AI tools. Like I can bet that this takes 100,000, 300,000 at least to get it really to MSVP, SVP stage. Plus, imagine there's some marketing budget. It easy can go over like $1 or $2 million pure cash. And Competera was bootstrapped for years. And where I see on that other pocket, I see the enterprises who understand the problem can pay immediately, and even 2-3% of optimization give us hundreds of $1 million. Sorry, thousands of millions in optimization profit. Yeah, this is how we pivoted. And by the way, just since last few months, we are launching right now with one of our ex product managers the version for SMB. It takes our 7 years to come to this point back, and the Competera for SMBs will be also available soon.
Okay, that's a
Full
super
long story short.
interesting story. Long story short, yeah. But it's also, I don't know how you were marketing it before, but now that I hear a lot of stories of companies going to enterprise saying, "Hey, we have this AI." solution for you. And there's also a lot of argument towards, how are we going to control this? This is AI. We don't know what it reads, what kind of information it has access to. So how do you convince companies right now? And were there any issues before?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Honestly, guys, still the adoption of enterprise level applied AI, like not the AI that you use to writing your emails, but honestly, even there, you write there like a lot of legislation problems. They are all about the overall adoption AI in enterprise less than 3%, guys. AI is in enterprise is very very behind. And what they all working right now towards this, of course, private deployment, model control. We start even receiving right now, guys, RFPs where is a separate tab saying like AI guardrails or AI legislations. This is like you saw the EU is released AI Safety Act that you can be that it should be compliant. Yeah, again, how we address this is still not there. Still, we're getting a lot of pushbacks because you're right. There's this first of all, enterprise companies don't want they even hash your cache be somewhere outside. It means that you can't use most of the public models like available, etc. It could be best case should be fine tuned in their perimeter or on premise deployment, etc. But it's all honestly, it's all right now. The infrastructure is all of this. I mean, we passed through this ICO, SOC 2 compliance. Yeah, these guys around 6-8 months work on that. But enterprise right now, all of them. The good news, they all of them right now have the agenda to start making money on enterprise because right now on the AI enterprises, only Nvidia make money on the AI in enterprise. No one else, or the else, they're really spending money there. It's like I just was on this guys, the March 2025 big conference in Las Vegas, where top 5 CTOs of biggest commerce platforms sitting on the stage, including like Wayfair and other guys. And the moderator give them like a quick battlefield. Say, guys, you have 30 seconds. Tell me what AI innovation you actually implemented last year, because as AI knows is the second year ahead, that you're happy and can share. Silence, Anna. Silence. They say, we try to generate even the tax description for the products, but it still require the human overseeing a lot of hallucinations. We need to be compliant with specific rules. And for us, it's cheaper still buying. Or big telecom company saying, do you think, guys, you can really replace your support manager with AI, where like average token without proper orchestration and caching those requests? Answer, each answer will cost you 8 to 10, 15 cents, which is like, sorry guys, but people from Vietnam or Philippines 10 times cheaper, and they're still humans, and they already having them rather than paying this millions to open AI and again fight with those legislation training this, etc. Yeah, I mean, it's still coming. The good news is coming that way. This became cheaper in the first glance and secondary more secure. And this is, I see a lot of companies right now honestly growing who actually making enterprise using public models through those kind of re-hosting those models, optimizing them, guardrailing them, etc. Yeah.
So, to that question that you just said was at the conference, what about you guys? What kind of AI initiatives do you have at Competera that you're happy with?
Yeah, this is so fun that we are in general we're happy that our customers are happy that and they finally turning back and saying, hey, we are really want to have applied AI, means that AI what works and can beneficial to your PNL. Yeah, of course, in our case, this is most of the it's not a whole code base. Of course, my CTO is super against any vibe coding thing, but of course, co-piloting the developer is right now is a cool tool that can watch your screen and deploy on your laptop. They're watching the screen, for example, of the front-end developer, and then can really, with the prompting them, having those part of the code base, what he's working on. I feel like, again, this vibe coding thing is good for front-end. This is like quite robust. For backend thing or microservices is almost impossible because you need to keep the context of these tools and overall architecture, what is still like really big problem. Yeah, that we use a Cody, we're using some kind of those co-pilots for coding or for code commenting as well. We kind of we don't have HR in the company. This is AI that you can really do a lot of kind of internal requests, etc. Just speaking with AI, we have a huge knowledge base that can be thrown quickly answering the RFI questions, or someone forget about some functionality of the product. It's kind of some conversational CI would just speed up efficiency and the speed of your development, or even searching the information. A lot of stuff we're doing on the sales side, of course, is very obvious. For example, transcripting the call and then putting in the CRM the right outputs, and actually highlighting what sales guys forgot to ask, and asking, suggesting them great follow-up on this. I think in this case, just productivity very much increased. We also decreased numbers of SDRs and BDRs who need to work. Is like right now, one guy can work as a 10 guys with all those tools. Yeah, I think this is multiple implications. And yeah, we honestly, because we ECO is so compliant, we also can't use and even test bench of the tools what we wish to have, but we can't because they're still not. You saw it, like those Fireflies was banned, and right now more and more enterprise companies banning the Fireflies is the most advanced note taker. And actually, I think they're if they probably they used to have plans to go public because they were growing as a crazy, but now there's a huge problem. The SoftBank blocked them, and of course, the SoftBank customers portfolio of the SoftBank, all those companies will not use Fireflies anymore, and until they will fight with this. And this is why we still unfortunately don't really selective on the tools what we can use.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think anyone has ever said their HR is AI here. Like everyone says marketing, everyone says productivity tools. No one said HR. How big is the team?
We have 90 people team. Yeah, maybe 100 would be soon.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
but it's
All
like
right.
like this is very cool stuff that we have this knowledge base, right? The company vision, all the strategy. People boring, people lazy. They will never read, despite how often you update all those statements. And our we call this Galava AI, like a head AI. He knows everything. Or you can say, hey, what's my policy about sick leave? How I do this and that? And it's very interesting. It's like not guys very something complicated. It's just a rug with some specific kind of tables that you can feed in with your profile, etc. Yeah, just work directly in Slack. Yeah.
How many meetings do you guys have on average?
This good thing, like we as a company, very big fans of this, like we call the 666 framework, what was actually widely famous from Intercom adopted this. It means that every 6 months we review our 6 year strategy and act like in the 6 weeks run as a 3 sprints. And we have this big meeting on the whole company, hands-on meeting every 6 weeks technically. Then 2 weeks of this, 1 week is a retrospective and 1 week is a planning. And end of the planning week, we have this company-wide meeting where each department present their innovations and that those OKR achievements. Technically, the OKR framework was framed over 6 weeks runs, and this minimized those meetings a lot. And I'm a big fan of, we call it this asynchronous meeting types. It means that if you want to present something, you record the video and you place the calendar blocker to the team what you want to speak with. They're related to the video and a Q&A form that you not spend time on the meeting on speaking. And actually, this is honestly not super straight policy right now, but I'm pro. We actually banned any meeting what is longer than 30 minutes in the company. Like it should be have a multiple excuses why that meeting should be longer than 30 minutes. Yeah, and this is free up a lot of calendars because you're right. This most of the teams are really struggle with these endless meetings, what never ends, what creates the backlog, what you never actually coming back to. That's why this is what we use. But it's for me, it's hard to say how many of them. I'm
Awesome.
participating only in a few.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a good idea. I started thinking about this asynchronous meeting kind of situation for myself because, as you know, I'm based in Vietnam, and for everyone, well, not everyone, but most of the team I work with is in Europe or the US. And yeah, sometimes so, I spare their very early mornings and don't have to, on the other side of the world, sit in a meeting at 8 p.m. That would be, yeah. I'm still, nothing is implemented yet, to be completely honest, but maybe I can pick your brain a little bit later on how you guys make it
Easy.
happen.
But sorry for that, but stand-ups, I mean, the guys, this is important. I mean, if you're saying that is for you, the team to stand up, to plan the week, we do have this executive stand-up on Mondays, like it's technically retro of the previous week and the future week, but we try to minimize as much as possible. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So I also want to ask you about this never-ending debate of bootstrap versus funded. And you guys have been bootstrapping for a while, but now you already raised, right? Yeah, you already raised a couple of rounds. Why did you go that way? And do you think at this point, if you were doing AI, you cannot go bootstrapped?
Good question. Honestly, it's always like a skaters versus the rollers or snowboarding versus like skiing, bootstrap versus funded. I mean, for my philosophy was always the following: that the money can buy you the time. If you're confident that money what you attract, we see money, most expensive money guys in the world, like most cheapest money, guess who is this? Customers' money, right? And this is if you can really grow initially from kind of money what the company is paying. And I know a lot of amazing founders what was never funded, and even our original investors, they were like above $100 million in IRR, team of 100 people, never funded, right? And you can make it. And I still like more adept of the bootstrapping, but you're right. It depends very, for example, what you build. Imagine, Anna, we are working with you on some, I don't know, next cure from cancer. And this is just impossible to make it without the funding. And I think in my case, I underestimate the complexity and speed of those research what I can do. And I wish I will back in the days get more money, but it was again in Ukraine, it was really hard to find got that size of money. We then raised like $1 million seed round, and it was like the biggest seed round in Ukraine that year. That I know for that problem today, people will maybe raise at least 10. But knowing what we build, how much money and people we need to deploy, especially for breaking those enterprise sales, as you mentioned. And for example, I heard very cool advice from a CRO of Slack, initial CRO. He said, Alex, a lot of advices they're given by hiring executive, then hire CRO. No, can you imagine in startup, you need to hire someone who can sell something what actually wasn't, the people doesn't know they have this problem. And there's like new problems. This is twice harder to sell it. You can hire just a regular or mediocre sales guy. It needs to be so advanced, the guy who can really push it through the borders. Yeah, and sorry again, don't cut from your question. Uh, this about your personal confidence. In my case, I feel like if I can sell it, I feel just market is not ready. I don't have this virtual background and what I usually use in my office. We won this award in London in 2018. It was AI Summit in London, is regularly taking place. 2019 was 2,000 startups. It was 3 graduated. We were one of them. This AI Summit, like they called like best applied AI in industry. But guess what? I got this award. I was in the Wired. I was twice in Forbes, like big articles. But it doesn't help me to sell. It was exactly like a drone delivery. Everyone's speaking about them, but no one really using. Taking the money from investors, and they will ask you to spend that money, right? And it's take money, do not spend the same issue that spend it wrong. And I feel like market wasn't ready. It doesn't matter how many sales guys I will hire, they will not accelerate my growth, because the problem is the market is not understanding AI, not appreciating AI in general. Like this why I wish to, but you need to balance. For me, it's always a simple principle. If you have in your mind as a founder, you have this gut feel. Now is time. Now is the momentum where to press the acceleration pedal. If you don't have this in mind right now, I prefer better to not rise. Take your friends and family money, or bootstrap. Continue bootstrapping till you find this momentum. Otherwise, it would be tough journey. Yeah, this is my personal opinion.
All right. Yeah, thanks for sharing it. And I mean, since you guys are doing your pricing for big enterprise customers, how are you approaching it yourself? And maybe if you had this one pricing strategy advice to give to other founders, what would it be?
Perfect, great. In terms of pricing their product, you mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, guys, this is a big topic, but I always say, first of all, care about ISP, your ideal customer profile, because as much as you know the person what you're going to sell, it can be several of them, right? This is will completely determine how you market this. It means that how big is your customer acquisition cost? And third one, of course, how much you need to charge. This is very cool guy, Joe York, and I will follow up you with one link to the deck that I will rephrase as like few slides, what I usually advise startups how to start thinking about the pricing. And of course, we can start like saying like this is kind of usage-based pricing right now. This is just a tool, guys. The first thing what you need to thought about who your audience is, how they make money, what actually you bring the value to them, and depends on that, you will easily determine your pricing. This Joy York in my field saying answering on the how much it costs you to lend the customers actually answer on your cost of your product. For example, give you like real example. Competera's customer acquisition cost, our cost today is like $65,000 or $70,000 per customer. And this, by the way, not big. We had a company who tried to acquire us. They actually have even ACV, average contract value, lower than ours. Their customer acquisition cost was $150,000. They have a Trumps in San Francisco branded under their name. As guys, what the sense? Again, they technically healthy back to investors, right? And I like them for that because they give you like very good cold shower, saying good. The best guys, B2B SaaS companies, doesn't matter. They're like your small SMB like Figma, or you like Competera, like big enterprise, 6-7 figure contract lines. This is all about your LTV should be higher than CAC at least 3 times. Is number one. The second thing, you need to return customer acquisition cost less than in 12 months, but same time, HubSpot, Intercom, all those guys returning in 5-7 months. This is very simple math. It means that if you're returning your CAC too quick, it means that you underprice your product. If you're returning, your return is about 12 months, you underprice your product. That's it. And if you have no customer, if your customer acquisition cost is lower than LTV, or you struggle to calculate LTV right now, is not time to monetize your product. You should continue speaking with the customers and see. My most advice of the for if your product led growth, you don't have at least 100 customers using you right now, paid, turn off, and you have a pricing page on your site, turn off it, please. Take it off, start speaking with the customer. Price, even despite you see on the metrics, people go and click on the pricing page. Of course, they do. This is one of your human brain. All the life-changing decisions you made last years is always one of the trends is the price. Like, can I afford this girlfriend? Can I afford this car? Or can I afford this apartments to buy, right? It's always price and play. But early days, you need to speak. And I spoke with like hundreds of accounts. Even we started, by the way, with SMBs. Our base plan was at $80. Then I increased to $3,000 a month. And guess what? Conversion will remain the same. We just start charging 10 times more. And this deck, what I will share with you, I'm highlighting this kind of our early search of the ISP. But actually, this ISP, the customer, what you're going to sell to, what drives the sales team and marketing team, what you will need to build repeatable sales. And again, if this enterprises, your probably customer acquisition cost will be around 100,000. It means that your product needs to be at least 7-8K per month to be able to replicate the sales process. Because again, sales guy, if you have it, needs to bring you at least 4x his revenue, his salary back to the P&L. 4x, by the way, Jensen Lenkin, you know guys probably who it is, the best SaaS like he will told you like at least 10x, but I never saw it like 5x more or less, but it's true. It means that if the sales guy is not returning you 5x, he needs to have at least 10 closed deals. And if you boring him with like $100 deals to close, it just math doesn't work. Like using like premium cars to drive your grandmothers to the kindergarten is possible, but this have no sense and not repeatable. Yeah, this is by the way, a lot of startups are really fail due to this, the kind of wrong consumption of their pricing model. And Anna, you was right. I know, like we spoke about off mic this. In United States, due to like real big access to the money, you can be misled. For example, you know that Uber wasn't profitable for years, and they give the iPhones to any drivers. Or Sam Altman publicly said multiple times that average cost for user is around $2,000 per month, not 20. Can you imagine? Is 100 times difference in their unit economics. But assume, guys, do you have this access to that money and you can do that way? Fine, do it. You will gap the market, and then you figure out how you made your unit economics worse. And I remember the huge push of those shared economy, like e-bikes, e-scooters. They're all around in all countries. Where they all are right now? Gone, right? Only the companies who was ride sharings by taxi cars and food delivery, they're still keeping them, but same time in much less exposure again, because they said they like scooters can survive for 3 4 months. Real statistic is 20 days. The average electric e-bike or e-scooter, their life, they are like just destroyed in the next 45 days. It means that unit economics completely doesn't work. Yeah, and you need to have a huge push to make it really works. And that's why I actually dropped a few posts on my LinkedIn. Dangerous the founders, especially if you build a chat GPT wrappers, be careful with your unit economics and SaaS and CAC to LTV ratio from day zero, because you can spray and pray that the price will go down, but it's my 50% chance as any probability.
I just, as I was listening to you, I thought I need to bring you and our head of M&A into one room just to let you talk because this is golden. And yeah, this is, I mean, as acquirers, obviously we care about that a lot, and there's acquisitions are always big talks about
Easy. I
numbers.
can easily show you what metrics we follow and why we follow them and like where's, because again, when you're bootstrapping, you need to be like agile and fit, you know. Otherwise, you just not survive through these kind of stories.
Yeah, I think it would be awesome if you share something because, believe it or not, I think when we have a podcast or a AMA about pricing, they always get the most attention from founders. Apparently, it's like it's a real struggle. But back to you. You know, we still have a few minutes left of this podcast. You know, so far, bootstrapping, being VC backed, growing the company. Um, what has been the biggest win and the biggest failure?
Oh, uh, I think for us the biggest win that it was my dream to like to build a software that can be used by Fortune 100 companies. And can you imagine we pushing off like Oracle of this world, and out of the small tiny team, and we already have and serving like a few of that huge accounts, and the more is going to come, and it's like for us a super big achievement, like saying wow, can you imagine that those guys are using us. Yeah, and the failure honestly right now, we if you agile enough in the 660 framework, you're not allowed to be failed the big. But my learning, especially like if you're building guys enterprise, they really can kill your business. I mean, even if something written in the agreement, it doesn't mean they can follow. And most organizations, like especially like the founders who live in this, I called pink glasses, thinking if they try to fight with a big organization, is excited they will come and say, Anna, here's like $1 billion, I want to acquire you. Guys, no, they will try all the possible ways to put you down first. And only if they can, they come to acquire you. This is kind of the biggest learning. You can't imagine how many times we was involved, like voluntarily and not voluntarily, in some kind of like strategic partnership. What was sold as a kind of cooperation with revenue share was end up in brain drank meetings and trying to acquire us, you know, or shut down the technology. And this kind of things that probably my biggest fear, I was too kind of say open and too kind of bright for this kind of dark world to believe that our corporations are really kind and they're really excited what you're doing. They just and needs to be you needs to be careful. Don't trust anyone. Trust only your team and the great people around you. All the rest, I say you should be really protective to that.
We had a conversation with us on one side and then M&A advisors on the other side, just kind of trying to map the M&A process for founders a little bit. And I asked them, like, what is the great acquirer? What are we looking for if we're founders? Um, the advisor that was on the other side said, yeah, look for someone who just acquires. So acquiring businesses is their business. So someone like SaaS Group, for example, look for somebody who's already acquired somebody like you. Look for strategic, and only the last, only if you have to, uh, look for acquirers among your competitors, because that's probably not what they're after.
By the way, yeah, on this topic, really give this is after this few of this very strange, it probably worth another podcast where we speak about like this failed strategic M&As, and there's like you're right, there's a bunch of the stories, probably more than successful stories, of course. Most think what I realized that my guys, please have your M&A advisor. Early days is like your lawyer. You can't rely on lawyer of your investors. If you don't have your legal team and you will rely on legal team of, or the legal will work on that guy who paying them money. And this is in our case was really rough. Like I just literally I saw the guys, look, I'm feeling like I'm on the meeting. We're like a three professional boxer or football player sitting on the table on the table, and me who never played football before or just once in the kind of with the classmates. This kind of, you need to have your really trusted M&A advisors as early as you can and build those relations similar as they will protect your rights. And even despite honestly, Anna, between us, I also has a story where those M&A advisors was early days, but that customers who want to acquire, they was also their customers. And I think this honestly create mutual conflict of interest. And right M&A firm will never work with their portfolio company acquire another portfolio company, because it creates kind of incentive for them to not play fairless. That's why it should be, as you know, the right lawyers, they will never, if for example they assume the risk. This is why story is not my story. Story is my friend. They're like big app store developer, like very big. The Tim Cook know them, etc. And they was banned in Germany for like some of their applications was going to ban immediately, and ban came from Amazon because Amazon has IP rights on that, and they're super lawyers where they spending millions of dollars a year on them, saying we can help you because Amazon is our customer. Sorry, here's like few lawyers that you can work with. Like they was super pissed off because this is kind of things what you need to compare. Yeah, and then the right M&A that needs to be kind of independent, and but it should play on your side. And like I really advise to have a good M&A company what you guys working with early days, even if you don't think about M&A right now, maybe next 3-5 years, but it's a good time to start building those relations because those opportunities coming like time to time. And also, by the way, it's a huge waste of your time. As you know, they're really sneaky. They also kings of outreach, coming very kind of, hey, we have few customers for you here and here and here, and then you're spending time and realizing that they are really sneaking for insights or sneaking for trying to acquire you or just sourcing some stuff for you. And you have those M&A advisors just honestly passing those emails to them saying, hey, this probably looks like this, and they take in like right now, Anna, I just checked the statistical, since 2019 is a 700 conversation happens. Those guys saved me at least 700 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Choose your acquirer and your M&A advisor wisely. That's gonna help a
Yeah,
lot.
and early.
And early.
Yeah.
That's true. All right. Well, the last question is always about a hack, and it can be anything. It can be something personal that helps you as a founder, or something that works in the company and you think would help others.
Oh, I think, but from my observation of my friends and early founders, this is first one is really tough to run alone. Like having your co-founder. If you don't have one, please, and this is harder than dating, honestly. Like to find a real partner that you can go through all those kind of ups and downs, and it will definitely happen. Even in case of success, it will happen. In case of not success, it also happens. Your co-founder is a must have thing. For example, YC not accepting any company if there's no two co-founders at least. Yeah, and I don't even hear like exceptions. Happens. The second one, be careful with your kind of personal health and productivity. I mean, I see a lot of great founders what became really tired and obsessed. Like take time for your personal things, like for refocus. Is why, by the way, I'm living in San Mateo, the Bay Area. I was really shocked how much people spent outdoor doing this cold plunge, yoga, meditation, some active stuff, because this needs your brain to refocus. Without that refocus, we're like Eastern European founders, Anna, we can work 24 hours all indoor, including the Sundays and Saturdays. It's not that, guys. It shouldn't be like that. You is a perfect balance, and I feel this. Competera guys, early days we live in the everyday deploy. It means every night we have a deployment. And one day, just it's like in a movie, the developer stand up, drop the keyboard, drop the laptop, broke everything, and just walked from the door. We never heard back from him. He not answered the phone. He blocked the phone, and I said, probably something we're doing wrong. It was a team of three of us, right? Like, believe me, when it's team of three of you and one just living that way, this is really trouble. Yeah, and then we moved like weekly releases, etc. Yeah, keep the balance. I think this is two most important thing: co-founder and keep your work and life balance, because it's really hard to overcome those challenges. And maybe just 0.01% of the founders can survive through those things. By the way, you saw the statistic that only like 0.4 companies passing through $5 million in IRR and 0.06 through 10. Just imagine how big selection is. A SaaS stock just will probably starts in a few weeks, right? Their slogan on their website is only 0.04% companies made it over $10 million in IRR, and we exist to accelerate this number. But it's real true. A lot of things can go wrong. By the way, guys, the problem in the customers is like, I think the most easiest one. If you have a strong team that you rely on, from there you can run one company, one problem, then you can iterate and build another one. This absolutely all more or less the all companies they same. But what is it not what is it you will have after you've done all the stuff? These people who surround you. This is very important from day zero, to care about your early day teams, your early founders, and this is really really important.
Yep, that came at a very right time. I think, just overall, kind of this last bit about a hack, it has been about many things, but I think the recurring theme is exactly that. Is that, what, this kind of all around 360 grind that was so sexy 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. Now people are like, yeah, maybe not. Maybe we need to rethink that. And I think it's so much better, and it's no longer fun to read about founders who are like, "You're tired? Well, pick up another project, work on that. It will be better." Yeah, no longer kind of feasible. And people who actually talk about, hey, you know what, I did that so I can walk my children to school every morning. That's the stuff.
Yeah, brother, you can't imagine how often I just dropping the kids in this my kid to kindergarten and having the business call on that. It's really tough. Again, it's great. It means that people they really they're passionate. I know, like, there's a bunch of my people, they can work Saturdays, Sundays. By the way, from DNA at Competera, actually we always has the problem with our security guards, and we have the kind of the house that is like with our own like 3-floor building, and like technically it wasn't allowed to work after 10 p.m. because there's a security perimeter, etc. But the people was spending in office till 1 a.m., 2 a.m. They just enjoy, and coming very early. We have a food like breakfast, as all the stuff, and they kind of, for some of them, this is your lifestyle today. I say this is not work and life balance. This is just this life, right? What you do, and if you just not working, right? And that's main. I really believe that if you're passionate enough, you will continue working. Do not be tough. But this is why I have opposite way. I trying to convince the people to take the time off. When the COVID hits, Anna, our velocity charge jumped like 2x. And I was scared. I first think what I told my operational director, say, brother, we need to convince people to go outside. Say, Alex, they have nothing to go. Sport clubs are closed, restaurants are closed, fitness clubs are closed. They just have only thing they're working. It's really tough because these burnouts are really real thing. And I saw the people who really was born out, and I was also experiencing that, especially in this enterprise world, people just trying to put you down for no reason. Even when you're delivering cool results, when they're making millions of the dollars weekly, they're trying to squeeze like 50K on your contract. It's like you was always upset. Like, what is wrong with this world? Yeah, and again, I think my only way to pass through all these challenges, what you're having at work, is no easy problems, guys, exist anymore, right? It's like Olympic game. If you again, be honest with you, do you really compete, or you going to Olympic? And this is, you can't go just 3 times a week for like football class and pretend that you will play in the national cup, right? you are need to dedicate your life to that, and became that style. This is why in Competera we never fixed our hours, working hours. The team is decide what the time, because right now we spread it around 11 countries, and we call this flexible hours. It means the team is decided what the best time slot for them, for their routines, and most of this is working asynchronously. And it has some benefits, of course, and some downsides. The culture thing is really hard to keep in this remote world. In the office, everyone is really friends and family. In the remote world is not. Just be honest, you're not a family. I always say we're not a family. We're rather than sport team. What appreciate like high performance athletes love to work with high performance athletes, and we can be good friends and appreciate each other. But we didn't polite for this kind of procrastination and not commit to complete. It's very thing to commit complete. Take one task, small one, just like for I don't know 1 hour, or like if you took it and not completed, this is what ruined the whole trust. All the rest, enjoy your life. Like live in Portugal, live like in mountains. We have one guy. He said, "Alex, I'm like a Pablo Escobar. I'm owning this village right now. I just bought it everything. Like he bought land by land." He said, "I love it. Like I love my kids love, etc." I'm happy for him. Like he don't want to move anywhere. Yeah, but I know how I can bring him back to the office is impossible. And I start appreciating those guys. They're super well organized and they work all life remotely, as assuming Anna you do as well. And that is I think this is next level people that is called like digital nomads. That right now is like just evaluating to kind of normal thing, right? And try to get as much as you can those guys like high performing athletes what actually very self-organized and don't need to remind. For example, one of my small trick as well, I never remind anyone anything what I ask once. that that's a very simple principle. I ask you something in the channel or in the direct message. I can ask urgent, not urgent. Sometimes we use it like urgent, important, not urgent, important, not urgent, not important. Like that's it. Like in the brackets, just to the someone who receive it can understand where best way to answer. I will never follow up. Never. Ever like will back to me. That's for me the indication of the. And now I'm actually maybe blessed. In my executive team is like 7 people. I have 0 people who can't not reply or not reply on time where I need this thing. That's it. It's just kind of just work ethic. That was just DNA of Competera. And if we sometimes happens that and they know it, they will immediately like replace the boss. By the way, most firing what we done is actually not the guy can do some time on hard skills. It's not about those soft skills, just basic thing like commit complete, polite, the way how you communicate with each other and how cool you are as a teammate. This is most reason for like we are stopping some agreements, not anything else. Because hard skills can be developed. Come on, in this world, that is it. Phew,
Yeah.
sorry.
Absolutely. That's a great that's a great mini rant. But I completely agree. For us too, I think it's mostly just how we work together because in such a big team, you can always find somebody who complements your hard skills and somebody maybe who can teach you something else. But if you're not fun to be around or you cannot really show the work ethic that we're all striving for, then yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's
And
not
this
really a
never
fit.
change. If you see this first 90 days in the person, is the most productive days in your company or in your group. If we behave that way, first like 3-4 weeks, done. This never change. Just replace. It's fine. You just faster change. It will like find a new person ASAP and replace because it's not going to change, especially if this is a new guy or girl in your team. This is what the huge learning as well. Like we done so many second tries, say, hey, you see, this is like, it's why I also eliminate HR as a function. Like this
Hmm.
is why we have Golo AI. It's it. Because it's like HR always trying to protect some things like that. Oh, I spoke with him. He know his mistake. He will fix it. He's not. Like I statistically never. I don't remember any example of that. Like someone was, hey, you didn't ask for that guy, or you was rude on this conversation. They can be quiet for a few weeks, months, whatever. Then they will become again. This is people is not change since like it's actually a scientific fact. After 22, 24, you can't change your soft skills. It's super hard, and you need to work at this very, very hard. It was like again, statistically, most likely it would not happen with that person, particular person in your team. Maybe, okay, the chance is always never 0% chance, but most likely it's not.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing it. And I'm really, I would love to someday maybe pick your brain about this whole no HR thing, because that's very interesting. I've never heard about this
No HR
before.
culture.
Yeah. But yeah,
By
looking
the way,
forward to that.
Telegram, I just did a recent is a Doodle of podcast. They said that also no HR, no recruiting team. That's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they're very small,
Yeah, they're
aren't
about, but
they?
still like 40, 60 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. And also I
Yeah.
promised it to your audience to give the link to this, I call it
Yes.
value-based pricing kind of stuff. Yeah, I will also drop you the link. Just
Cool. Yeah, I'll
follow up.
share it down there. But thanks for being here and looking forward to doing it again
Thank you, Anna.
sometime.
Very nice questions. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Enjoy
you.
your day. Bye.
Take care.